Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of XR Talk Show. Today we're going to talk about Emacs live coding, Emacs Lisp live coding. Good morning, Alan. Good morning, M. Haster, and good morning, Alan Prestige. So Alan says, Prestige for the elite keyboard warriors, the run of flawless typing made by the mythical 72 open source contributors in the depth of Google. That's a verse. That's a new verse. Okay, so we are going to do a Emacs Lisp live coding, and the task will be this will be the task. Okay, modify xah-html-insert-br-tag so it inserts at the end of line and put cursor to the end of next line. I'm going to explain. Okay, we are going to modify that code, but in fact let's write it from scratch. Well, I'm going to explain why we need to modify it. I mean some design issues, the design issues of a command's behavior. Okay, but first of all, let's talk about the background image. Prestige Elite. Now this is IBM Selectric board. Now if you don't know, if you are the millennial generation, the new generation, the Pepsi generation, well, Pepsi generation is the boomer generation, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so this is IBM Electric board. Now that is a chapter, a big chapter in the history of keyboards, typewriters and keyboards, of course. Typewriters is the father of computer keyboards. Now this board, now IBM Selectric, that's the model's name, that's the brand name, okay, from IBM. This is around what year? Let's see. Okay, so let me say what year. IBM Selectric. Okay, the typewriter looks like that. I mean, and this is the most popular and the most beloved typewriter, electric typewriter. And the novel thing about this invention is this board. You see, it got this board. So the way this board works is that it will twist and tilt to the right character and hit. So there's a video. If you just search my go to search for XR Lee IBM Selectric, you will arrive at my page. Okay, there are quite a few pages online about this typewriter. So I collected some of the interesting things. Here is an ad of the IBM Selectric, and there's a video explaining the mechanism. Okay, here's an ad. That's how it works. Okay, so and there are some other people's videos and also explanation of the mechanism, quite interesting and very extremely well designed. So that is the background image. And now we shall begin Emacs Lisp coding, because that's what you guys are here for. Then after that, if we have time, we go back to keyboards, the fascinating topic of keyboards. Okay, the keyboard history. So much history and so much to do. So much, I'm gonna toil and moil my hands to death on writing these pages. There are, in fact, so many more to write. I haven't got time to do it yet. So my life is jumping around Emacs Lisp, JavaScript, keyboards, and mostly these few topics in the past month. Okay, now let's begin the Emacs Lisp coding. So what I want to do, you see, is sometimes you have HTML, right? Okay, so on the right window is the pink window. You can see all my commands, the command names, and the keystrokes I'm using. So as I move cursor, you can see, or as I delete character, or if I undo, they will all show up on the right pink window. So if you don't know what I'm doing, you can look it up, and chances are the source code, you'll find the source code on my website. Okay, so here's what we are going to do. Sometimes sometimes when you write HTML, technical documentation or tutorial, sometimes you want, there's paragraph, right? You can make a paragraph, that's the P tag for the paragraph, magnify. But sometimes you don't want the P tag. Sometimes you actually want a break, BR. Okay, so let me show you what's the difference. Okay, hold on a second. Undo, copy the whole thing, undo, 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 undo. So we are reverting back to like that previously. Now paste. Now here is the new version. Now let's show in browser. See what's the difference. Because I am using CSS, so they kind of, so here's the difference. So here are two paragraphs. Okay, let's magnify. Okay, I want the okay, so here are two paragraphs, and here is one single paragraph with a break in between, so it's more compact. Sometimes you do want that. You don't want, you don't want everything to be a paragraph. And sometimes, sometimes if you have an address, my home address, let me talk about, what I'm doing is telling you the utility of the BR tag. The utility of the BR tag. So my address is 618 Phantom Street. Phantom Street, number 1. Okay, and the city, let's say San Francisco, SF, San Francisco, California, and the zip code is something 94 something 333. Okay, so if you have that, now how do you format that? Okay, so one way, if you make it a paragraph, it does not look good. It looks like one single line. That's no good. The other way is, let's try it. Okay, so make a paragraph, but you want the BR there, BR. So go back to browser, show in browser. Now that's what you want. Of course, there are other ways. For example, you can make the whole thing a list, show in browser. You see here is a list. That's not what you want. So you want the BR tag. So BR tag, that's the use of the BR tag. Now, so if we are given, let's say if we are given this, we want to add a BR. It's tedious. You need to move the cursor to the end of the line and type BR. Type BR. You need to then copy it, then do it again, that's tedious. So we are going to write a command that do it one shot. We can select the whole thing. We can select the whole thing, and in fact I've written the command already. So let's call the command. Okay, show the pink window. Let's call the command insert-br. There, xah-html-insert-br-tag. There it is. Okay. Now that is when you have a selection. Now if you don't have a selection, you need to move to the end of cursor and call the command, do it. Then move to the end of the next line, call the command, do it, and okay, so I have this command written already. So let's show the command name. So describe function, type the command name, and here it is, xah-html-insert-br-tag, and it's in this file, xah-html mod. You can get on the Git, on my GitHub, and here's the source code. Okay, so I've already written it. So let's copy the name, close it, back to the talk show page, paste it here, make it a corner bracket, embrace it with corner brackets, and make it a list. Okay, then remove that and show in browser, and you can see that is the command name, and we want to prettify it. So call the command. Okay. Back to, okay, so call the command, it becomes the code tag. You see the code tag there, and go back to browser, show it, so it becomes red. So anyway, so we are going to write the command. So this, so I already have the command, but what am I going to do? Why do we need to modify it? Okay, let me explain. So sometimes, the reason is to make it even more efficient. That's a design issue. So for example, sometimes my cursor is here. you know like one way is to select the whole thing and call the command and do br. So there we have it, right? But the other way, sometimes the other way is you move to the end of the line and call it and insert it. Okay, so what I want to do is to eliminate the need to move the cursor to the end of the line. So if my cursor is here, I call the command. Right now, if I call it, it'll just insert it there. That's not what I want. I want it to automatically move to the end of the line, insert it, okay, insert it, then move to the end of the next line, okay, so I can readily execute that command again. Then you'll move to the end of the next line. So I just repeatedly call this command several times interactively. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, let's write from scratch, shall we? Any questions and comments? Alan, D0x, I don't know what that is. Okay, so let's code it. Okay, so let's stop the video playing here. Double check my video, check my audio, check, and my dog, check. My friend's dog is here. Okay, so let's code it from scratch. Okay, begin, just open. All you have to do is open any buffer in Emacs. Okay, so you can just open any empty buffer. But the way I do it, since I have HTML set up, so I do that, and there is our new buffer. Okay, D for define. Okay, expand to the define function. So this is a template for writing Emacs Lisp commands. I'm using xah-html-insert-br-tag mod, so you can do that. You can use that if you want. So the command name will be xah. Let's just say insert br. Okay, so wait, insert br. That's the command name, insert br. So docstring insert a HTML br. I want the slash. So what's the difference between a slash or not? The reason is that in XML or XHTML, which is XML, you need that slash slash. But in HTML, you don't need that. But Hi，Are you Chinese？ 是的，我是 Chinese。是的，我是中国人。I'm Chinese blood. I'm American citizen. Which version and build of Emacs are you using? I am using, let's show you, okay, Control U Meta X version. You see, I'm using GNU Emacs version 27. Okay, now back to the code. Let's finish writing the documentation. Insert a HTML-br tag at end of line and move cursor to the end of next line. Okay, that's our documentation. And version, today's date. That's my convention to give it a version date. So let's begin to write it. Okay, so first of all, move to the end of cursor. That's easy. End of line. There it is. Let's see. Describe function. What does this do? End of line. Move point to end of current line. That's what we want. Optional. We don't need that. Okay. Move cursor to the end of line. Then insert br. So easy. So trivial and easy. So insert br tag, then I want a backslash. Okay, then is that done? Basically that's already done. Okay, so eval the buffer, eval last go to the talk show page. Let's open a new buffer. Let's go to the talk show page. Okay, so we can test it out. Okay, so let's say, okay, let's test it out. So let's put the cursor here, then call the command. What's the command name? Insert-br. Okay, copy it. So let's try it. Call it insert-br. Yes. Oh, you forgot to move to the next line. Okay, let's fix the code. Then next line. I think next line. Yeah, there is a command next line, but I'm not sure that's what we want. Okay, describe function. Let's see what it does. So let me explain. Excursion into explaining Emacs Lisp intricacies. You know, the function that works on a line, there are many functions to do that. Like sometimes you want to move to the beginning of line, sometimes to the end of line, sometimes you want to move to the previous line, sometimes you want to move to the next line, sometimes you want to get the position of the beginning of the line or end of line, or you know. So there are quite a lot commands for variations, because what do you mean by line? Because there are visual line and there are physical line. For example, let me show you the example. Okay, for example, here is a bunch of text, right? A bunch of text. Now you see we have one, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, but you can join them into a long line. Now, so this is one single physical line, but however, when it's displayed, this, you see, here is the first line and here's the second line. You know, this is, you know, if you consider it a visual line. You know, so what do you mean by end of line? End of physical line? Mostly that's what we want. So anyway, there are a lot of variations. Okay, let me explain it. So go to my Emacs tutorial. Let's go to it. Emacs tutorial, practical Emacs. Then we want to go to practical Emacs Lisp. Okay, then you scroll down. Let me explain the fine details about commands or functions that works on lines. Okay, then you have, okay, you go down somewhere here. Writing commands basics, mark and region, get buffer string, work with lines. This one. So in Emacs Lisp, there are lots of ways to move by line or grab lines. Here are some functions or variations that are related to lines. It's somewhat confusing if you are a beginner. Okay, so you have line beginning position, line end position. You have move line beginning of line, move end of line. Then you have next line, previous line, forward line, search forward the line end character. That also does that. You know, that also does moving to the next line. And you have line move visual. So there are, you know, like lots of ways to do one specific thing, but however, given a task, there usually is one command that's the most suitable. For example, if you want to get the line beginning position, then you want to use this command, line beginning position. You don't want to, for example, you don't want to move to the beginning of the line and get the point. You know, that's kind of that's less efficient. So I explained some of the differences on this page. So anyway, so back to our code. So close that. So right now you see we need to move to the next line, and I'm not sure that's the right command. You know, when you code Emacs Lisp, usually one thing I pay attention is that whether the command is written in C or in Emacs Lisp. In this case, the next line command is written in Emacs Lisp. You can see, it's defined in this simple.er package. So usually I prefer functions that's written in C. If it's written in C, you'll say here, because when it's written in C, then that command is more fundamental, it's more core, it's more essential, and also that also means that command is faster. So you don't have to avoid it, but if you really want very tight code and efficient, usually it's preferable to use the C, the core function. So anyway, so that's one thing to pay attention, whether the command is written in C or Lisp. Okay. Now the other more important thing to pay attention is that in Emacs Lisp, almost every command is also interactive. Every function is also interactive. So for example, you will say, you see, next line is a interactive blah blah blah. Okay, that means user can call it to move the cursor to next line. Of course, nobody does that. I mean, if you want to move to the next line, you just press down arrow, right? But actually, you can actually call this to do it. For example, let's try it. So let's say my cursor is here. I want to move the cursor to the next line. So you call eval expression. Look at the pink window. You see, you call eval expression. Then you type the expression, the Lisp expression. So we say next line. So we do it. You see, it's like you calling the command to you are running a Lisp code to do something in your buffer. So that means, when a function is callable interactively, that function is called interactive command. Okay, we are digressing so much. Is it confusing yet? Okay, so next line, what I want to find out is if this is the command I want. No, that's not the command I want. For example, there is another one, forward line. Now I remember. Yeah, this is the command I want. You see in xah-html-insert-br-tag mod, the mod I'm using, when it's green, that means I think that means it's written in C. So let's call describe function on that forward line. You see, there it is. Forward line is an interactive built-in function in C source code. Now I don't have the source code. I'm on Mac. I didn't download, but on Linux you can press enter and you can look at the C source code. So anyway, forward line is the one I want. You can read the describe function, if you want to, but I know for sure this is what I want. So forward line. So that moves to the next line, and it moves to the, let's see, move n lines forward precisely if point is on line I, move to the start of it moves to the beginning of next line. So that is, that's what we want. Anyway, try it. Eval last expression, go back to HTML, put the cursor somewhere here, okay, and let's call the command insert-br. Fantastic. Okay, this is fantastic. Call it again. Fantastic. Now let's do this all over again. Okay, let's say we have so many lines. Call it, so the cursor can be anywhere. Okay, call it fantastic. Call it fantastic. Call it fantastic. Now there is a command called repeat. Okay, let me what is the command? I remember the key but not the command name. So the command is called repeat. Okay, let me show you. Hold on a second. So in Emacs there is a command called repeat. Let me show you. Okay, let me just show you. So let's do this all over again. Let's copy it, paste it here. So call the command. Okay, it insert the br. Call it again. Okay. Now it's tedious. Every time I have to do mx enter, mx enter, mx enter. I want it to be even more faster. Okay, so you can do, you call repeat last command. You see the pink window. I say repeat. So now I just press one single key T. You see T T T T T T T T T T T T T T. That is the beauty of this thing, and that is the reason, when we talk about designing of this command behavior insert br, that's why I want this. So actually, so that is done. That is what we want to do. So now we can do cleanup. Clean up meaning that I get the code, put it in my HTML mod. But that's essentially we're missing one behavior. You see. Okay, now you see, now what if I want to select the whole thing and do it? Add it to every end of line. So we need to modify this command to do it. So let me read the comments first. Then we quickly finish that. That'll be finished in 2 minutes or 3. And I have been talking for 26 minutes. Fantastic. So which version? Okay, so Brentacos says we'll have to watch this in slow motion later. Okay, is it possible to get a list of C function available in Emacs Lisp? I'm not sure there is a convenient way, but I'm not aware of any convenient way to do that. Yeah, so you can do that, but you have to write a Emacs Lisp script, I think. Okay, Gregor says, what are pros of learning Emacs Lisp? The pros of learning Emacs Lisp. Okay, don't learn it. It's useless. What language you want to learn? You want to learn JavaScript. JavaScript is the #1 most popular language. You want to learn Java, you want to learn Golang, you want to learn Python. Python is the #1 most popular language. You want to learn a language that will make you money. You'll be rich, you'll live comfortably, you'll have a Tesla car to drive. You spend 2 years on those, you'll be good. You'll be good for food and housing and the prevention of suffering from hunger. Now, if you want to learn Emacs Lisp, well, so what's the Emacs Lisp? It's useful. It's actually the most useful text processing language, especially interactively. So when should you learn Emacs Lisp? If you are an Emacs fan, then learn Emacs Lisp. Okay. Okay, I got a phone call. Shit. I got a phone call. I need to pick up. Hold on a second. Let me finish. Okay. What's your opinion? I gotta pick up the phone. Okay. So be right back in 1 second. In 1 minute. Coco, come here. So I'm back, and Coco, come here. Lovely. So I'm showing you my dog, my friend's dog. Okay. So let me read the comments and see what you guys are saying. Okay, comments. So learn Emacs Lisp if you want. Oh yeah, so I forgot to put on my headphones. So that's my friend's dog. So learn Emacs Lisp if you want to, if you are an Emacs Lisp user, and Emacs Lisp is actually the best language for text processing. Arbet is a bit slow. It's like 5 times slower than Python, Ruby, Perl, JavaScript. But it's actually the best language for text processing, small time text processing. We are not talking about if you need to process 1 million text documentations like at Google, then Emacs Lisp is not good. But for a programmer, if you need to interactive, if you are coding, if you need to refactor, if you are a blogger, or if you are a book writer or novel writer, Emacs Lisp is actually the best text processing language. You can make it, it's the most easy way to write some text processing, some transformation of text interactively. That's the important thing, because in Java, in Python, in JavaScript, in PHP, you can do that, but it's not interactive. But Emacs Lisp, you can write them on the fly. You don't have, I don't have to quit or compile or things like that. You write it, you do it, and if you don't like the behavior, you change it right away. So in that regard, Emacs Lisp is worth learning. But not for bread. Okay, if you are an Emacs Lisp expert, let's say you are the world's #1 expert in Emacs Lisp, you will not get a dime. You'll get a few dimes like me. No job. So what's your opinion on kebab case versus what's kebab case versus snail case versus camel case versus function names in different programming languages? Thanks insert-br versus insert-br versus insert-br. Oh, well, on that topic, that's a digression. I have an article on that, of course. You just search for xah-li camel case versus snake case. Okay, Google, actually not Google, DuckDuckGo. So you'll find my article, and I talked about this in one of my previous talk show. So I have read all articles on this issue online because I'm obsessed about these little details of programming conventions, idioms, things like that. In summary, so which one is better, camel case or snake case or some other? In summary, there's no definitive scientific there's no they are basically they are the same. Okay, there's no definitive say or prove which one is better. There are a couple scientific articles on this issue, but they are kind of inconclusive. You go read my article, and I have my own opinions, of course. But anyway, it's not important. My opinion is that I'm obsessed about this issue. So I always try to find which one is the best. Of all reasons, of all thinking and philosophy, there's no this issue is there's no one way that's best. Okay, you can just go read the article. Okay, so that's about it. So let's finish this code, and that'll be it. Okay, now we want to add a behavior so that if there's a selection, it does it to the whole selection. Okay, so that's easy. Add a if statement. If use region P. Use region P. Okay, that means if there's a text selection, then do something. If there's no text selection, then do what we did here. Okay, copy it. Okay, so what to do if there's a text selection? If there's a text selection, then let's make two variables, position 1, position 2, and position 1 will be region beginning. Okay, that's the beginning position of the region text selection. Okay, and set P2 region end. Okay, that's the end position of the selection. And what you want to do is you want to go to narrow to region. Okay, P1 and P2, and whenever you call narrow to region in Lisp code, you usually want save restriction. Okay, if you don't know what that is, look up describe function. Call describe function to look up. So narrow to region, then go to char point min, go to the beginning of the region, then while okay, search forward. Okay, search forward for end of line character, bound nil, no error, true. Okay, search forward. Okay, then once you found it, you want to replace match. Okay, you want to replace match by replace match by that, by a new line and a break. Actually, break first, then new line. Okay, then option fixed case, we don't care. Fixed case, yeah. Okay, prettify the code, shrink it a little bit. That's it. So shrink it. So if there's a region, then do this. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's just eval the buffer. Let's try it. So let's wait. Okay, so here we select the region. Okay, xah-html-insert-br. Fantastic, it's done. So now it's done. Let's copy the code, delete the file, paste the code. Okay, and show in browser. But before that, we remove the show in browser. That's our code, and that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and let's syntax color the whole thing. Go back to browser, refresh. So syntax coloring, fantastic. That's from xah-html mod. You can use it. It's on my GitHub. Okay, so if you like my stuff, go to my xah-li practical Emacs tutorial. Of course, you know how to find it. Practical Emacs Lisp, and buy my tutorial. Support me. And that's it for today. Okay, I'm gonna read the comments, and let's be short. 39 minutes. Okay, there's a question. Is it better to write an Emacs Lisp function if a keyboard macro can do the same? Not necessarily. Okay, now let me explain about keyboard macro. If you don't know keyboard macro, okay, you go to okay, let me explain keyboard macro. I did a video on keyboard macro before. That's long ago. So you go to Emacs tutorial, you go to Emacs tutorial, magnify, search for macro. Okay, near the bottom, Emacs efficiency, keyboard macro. Keyboard macro lets you record keystrokes and run them. Okay, so the question is whether if you can do something in keyboard macro, is it worthwhile? Is it better to write a Lisp function? No. Okay, so if you can do something in keyboard macro, just use keyboard macro, because keyboard macro is actually much simpler. You don't have to know Lisp. You can just do it. And in many cases, keyboard macro, it will do the job. Okay, you don't need to write Emacs Lisp. Emacs Lisp is actually much more faster and allows more detailed control. Other than that, I mean, if you can do something with keyboard macro, then just use keyboard macros. Okay, unless you want, if you need to do it 1,000, 1,000,000 times, then you need, then you want, for efficiency reasons, you write the Emacs Lisp code. Okay, that's about it. Okay, actually, I have I answered that question here somewhere. So go read this page. Okay, keyboard macro. I tell you how, and I tell you why. How to record a sequence of keystrokes, most useful keyboard macro commands, save keyboard macro, and keyboard macro demo. There it is, my video. And there is an article or somewhere here, there are more examples here, where I believe I explain keyboard macro versus Emacs Lisp. In fact, there are certain instances, there are some cases where it's trivial to do a keyboard macro, but actually it will be fairly complex to write the Emacs Lisp code. Okay, that's it. Let's see next question. Why Emacs is my favorite editor? Greetings, Sergio. What is your secret of having so much knowledge? How do you keep up with so much information? There's no secret. Okay, that's what they say. I remember there's a movie, it described a British guy in Saudi Arabia, back in 1960s or earlier, 1930s, I forgot. What's his name? The British guy, a famous British guy who lived in Saudi Arabia and went through some war, and he kind of led the Saudi Arabia people to do something. What's the guy's name? You guys must know. So one day, I saw that movie 30 years ago when I was a teen. So he lights a match and he just put his finger on it and extinguish it. And the other guys are asking him, "What's the secret?" And the secret is just to endure the pain. In my case, I know a little bit something. How do I know? You just spend all your time on it. That's how. You just be a nerd. You don't do nothing except reading, math, and stuff. Okay, bye guys.